Welcome to Focus on Abilities, a program about issues affecting the lives of people with disabilities. I'm Lex Frieden. I'm professor at the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston and senior vice president at Tier Memorial Hermann. I'll be your host for today's program, and we have an interesting show today about employment of people with disabilities. We've got two great guests. I want to introduce them to you right after I ask this question, one that we'll answer before the end of today's show. The question is this: what proportion of people with disabilities in the United States who are looking for work are unemployed at this point in time? We'll get to the answer. You'll be surprised. And now it's a pleasure for me to introduce our guests. First, Roland Mireles. Roland, welcome to Focus on Abilities.
Thank you.
And Joel Armstrong-Bowling. Joel, welcome.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Glad to have both of you on the show today. Roland, you were actually disabled a number of years ago. How many years ago were you hurt?
22 years ago.
And it was in an accident in a stables, right?
Yes, I fell off a horse and suffered a spinal cord injury, C2 level.
Kind of like Christopher Reeve. I guess everybody remembers that accident, although you were not jumping at the time, right?
No, I was just riding on the back. And I always tell people mine happened first.
Okay. The accident you had then led you to the emergency room, no doubt, and then to rehabilitation at Tier. And how long were you actually in the process of rehabilitation?
Tier for 4 months.
You've got a breathing device.
Yes, it's a ventilator that pumps into my lungs.
You've had that since you were hurt?
Yes.
And that's because the spinal cord was broken at such a level that you need assisted breathing, right?
Correct. My spinal cord was damaged in the middle, called a central spinal cord.
So before you were hurt, you were working, actually working as a contractor for HPD. Weren't you involved with some of their animals?
Yes, I was in the Mounted Patrol Division working with the horses.
Okay. Joel, you, on the other hand, have had a disability since shortly after your birth, right?
Yeah,
How old?
3 years old. I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis when I was 3 years old. So I wasn't born with a disability, but I fell ill at the age of 3.
So when you can't remember being 3 years old, can you?
Mm-hmm. Some of it's sketchy, but my memory's not great. I just remember being very, very sick at that time, and my mom telling me she took me to a lot of rheumatologists, and actually was an adult rheumatologist that had diagnosed me with JRA.
So you were in and out of hospitals for a long time?
I was, yeah,
as a child?
Yes, I was. Mm-hmm.
Was that in Houston?
Yes, in Houston. I spent a good number of years in and out of the hospital going to the St. Luke's for children.
What about school, Joel? I mean, you were obviously disabled when you went through school. What was your experience?
Well, actually, through halfway through junior high school, I mean, my mom had to actually lobby with the school board to get me mainstreamed, because up until about the 4th or 5th grade, I was kind of in special ed classes, but by the time I just finished with junior high school, I was mainstreamed. So it was kind of I was in the special education environment and also mainstreamed at a time when there weren't a lot of disabled students that were being mainstreamed in the public education system.
So what high school did you go to?
Lamar Consolidated in Rosenberg, Texas.
And you went to the same school as everybody else? I mean, the same classrooms and
yes, it is.
Same building and everything.
Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, gosh. I finished my high school at 1990. I graduated in 1990.
So that was after the law required schools to make accommodations, but before the Americans with Disabilities
That's
Act.
correct, yeah.
Okay. Roland, in terms of your experience, you obviously were working at the time you were disabled, but you had not finished all your college yet, right?
Correct. I was going to San Houston State at the time of my injury.
And after that, then you went back to college?
Yes, I went to college right back, probably about a year after my injury. And I went back to U of H Central, then later I went to U of H downtown. Then I finally went back to San Houston State
and got my degree in Bachelor's of General Business.
Bachelor's degree in general business
Yes,
at San, is it from San Jacinto?
No, Sam Houston.
Sam Houston, sorry. And since then, you've been involved in a lot of different jobs, right?
Oh, yes. From Asheville, I worked there before I got hurt.
Yeah.
I also worked there after I got hurt. And Asheville provided me an opportunity. And I really enjoyed working there.
We're going to come back to your work experience in a minute. Joel, you, by the same token, finished high school and then went on to college where?
At the University of Houston, the main campus, University Park.
And after that?
After I completed my bachelor's program at University of Houston, I then completed a graduate degree at George Washington University in D.C.
So you moved to Washington, D.C.
Yes, I did.
And went to school at George Washington University.
Yes, I did.
What's your graduate degree in?
My graduate degree is in education and human development, and also a graduate certification in job development and placement.
Okay. And that's a master's degree, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah. Roland, have you had postgraduate education?
No, sir.
Okay. The issues that you all have faced in school, I think, probably were challenging, but those after school in the workplace may be more challenging. I want to talk about some of those issues, but before we do, we'll take a break here from Focus on Abilities. You all please stay tuned. We'll be back with our guests, Roland Mireles and Joel Armstrong-Bowling, in just a minute. Welcome back to Focus on Abilities. I'm Lex Frieden, your host, and we're here today with Roland Mireles and Joel Armstrong-Bowling. Roland and Joel, you both had experiences with disability, obviously, and also after that you've had the challenge of going back to school and completing your degrees. Both of you have college degrees. Joel, you have a master's level degree, and your experience after that, I mean, most people, when they finish school, go and seek employment, right?
Correct.
Joel, when you first went to get a job, was that before or after you had a master's degree?
Actually, before. I had gone and applied for jobs when I was undergoing my bachelor's degree at University of Houston, applying for internships and part-time work.
Did you have difficulty getting those jobs?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Why was that? I mean, did employers wonder that you couldn't do it, or?
Well, it just like trying to get their attention focused on what I was saying rather than, and I could tell immediately that when I would come into the room, their eyes would automatically shift to my hands and the chair and, you know, my walk. And so I had to learn quickly to kind of capture them, you know, in a positive way quickly, in order to have them not focus so much on my physical stature and disability. And
how many jobs did you apply for in order to get one?
Gosh, maybe 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
It was quite a few.
All right. And Roland, was your experience similar?
Well, when I was going to school, I was working for Astro at the time. But after I left Astro, I did find it difficult to get employment. It took me about almost 8 to 9 years before I actually found a job, and the job that I got was from a medical supply company. I was their customer, and they had a position open, and they invited me to work for them. But
so, I mean, you went to a lot of employers and asked for employment.
Oh, numerous.
And their reaction to you was similar to the reaction to Joel? I mean, they were just preoccupied with your disability and not necessarily with what you wanted or could do.
There was a combination of my disability and also having a degree, being overqualified for the position.
Oh, that's interesting. So employers actually told you that you were too well educated to do the job you asked them if you could do, right?
Right.
Do you think that was just an excuse?
That could be an excuse.
All right. Joel, in your experience now, You have a certification in job development, so you help other people with disabilities look for work, right?
Mm-hmm. I sure do.
Most people face the same issues that you did through your personal experience?
Yeah, that's what I found. I did work several internships in Texas and also in the state of Virginia when I went through my graduate program, working in the Career Resource Center, working directly with individuals that had disabilities that were applying for employment, and they encountered a lot of the same barriers that I faced when I was trying to enter the job market.
What do you counsel them? What do you tell them when they...
Not to take it personal and to kind of separate it being evaluated, not so much as it being, it's not a personal attack on you, but to kind of objectify it and learn to project your personality to kind of get past that, because, you know, getting them to understand that it doesn't matter which job environment you go into, you're going to face the same challenges. So you have to just figure out an effective strategy for learning how to get past that, you know, to get an employer's positive attention.
Okay. Roland, now you had the job with Astroworld when you were disabled. They continued you in the same position after you were hurt, or they put you in a new position?
When I went back to Astroworld, they first of all found me something to do, which was working at front gate, and I progressed from front gate to taker, season pass, surveying our guests, and my last position was in operations, rides training administrator.
And the reason you lost that job was Astroworld closed, right?
Oh no, I left before then.
Okay, did you leave on your own, or did they excuse you?
They excused me.
Do you have any idea, was that just a result of cutbacks in their employment?
No, that was for improper ticket procedure.
Oh, you want to go into any details?
Well, the supervisor thought I was letting people in free,
Okay.
but I didn't, and loss prevention proved that I did not let people in for free, but my supervisor still chose me to leave.
So, but that wasn't the same supervisor who hired you?
No.
So, I mean, actually, while you were there, you probably had several different supervisors, and your experience with each one of them was different, right?
Correct.
Then after you left Astroworld, you looked for a long time before you found another job?
Yes, that was.
Now, your current job is back in the entertainment and sports industry, right?
Yes, it's with Houston Texans.
And did you have difficulty getting that job? How many applications did you make with them before you actually got an interview?
Took me actually a few years, 2 to 3 years. And they sent me an email saying there's a position open for Tailgate Ambassador, which I applied last year. Didn't get the position, but I got it this year.
Okay, so you actually applied several times to them, and finally your persistence and perseverance paid off, and they employed you this year.
Yes.
You like that job?
I love it.
Okay.
I get to interact with the fans, and the fans are always upbeat, and I'm an upbeat person also, and like to interact with guests. And
okay. Joel, your current job is with the ILRU program. You're
Case Navigator.
Case Navigator with people who survived Hurricane Ike, right? Helping
that's
them
correct.
to get relocated.
Right, yeah, that's correct.
Did you look a long time before you found that job?
Yes, I had. I had applied and sent resumes and contacted quite a few employers, gone on interviews. I would say easily a good like 15, 20 different places, interviewing and just networking, getting out there. And just like Roland said, you kind of have to be persistent at it, and you have to learn that you're going to have some rejection, you know, but you just have to kind of believe in yourself, and you have to just keep at it. And eventually, good things will happen. You just can't give up.
Roland, did you ever get depressed looking for work?
they always went in with a positive attitude, thinking that I am going to get the position. But then when I realized, oh, I didn't get the position, I just think, well, I got to try again.
And during the time you were looking, you filled your time with other opportunities, hobbies, and so on, right?
Correct.
What's your hobby?
I like, actually, two types of hobbies. One is going to different amusement parks, and second is NHRA.
Drag racing.
Drag racing.
So you like the drag racers, huh?
Oh yeah, 8,000 horsepower.
Did any of them offer to adapt your wheelchair so you can?
Oh yeah, I always want to put a parachute on the back, or put wings on it.
All right. Okay. We're visiting with Roland Mireles and Joel Armstrong-Bowling about employment and people with disabilities. You're watching Focus on Abilities, and we'll be right back with more after this break. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to Focus on Abilities. I'm Lex Frieden, your host, and we're here today with two very interesting guests, Roland Mireles and Joel Armstrong-Bowling. We're talking about employment of people with disabilities and the experiences that Roland and Joel have had. Roland, now, you quite frankly are in a wheelchair. You do need breathing assistance that goes with the wheelchair. It's a battery-powered device. And sometimes I would bet that your stamina is limited by your disability. How many hours a day can you actually sit up and work on the job?
I stay in my chair about 15 hours a day, and I work. I work double sometimes, which about requires me to be there at 8 in the morning.
Okay.
And leave at 8 and have to do that one job. And my other jobs that I've had, I work my normal shift.
Okay, so you work the same hours anybody else would under those conditions.
Yes, sir.
Any kind of accommodations that need to be made for you? Things that you can't reach that have to be lowered? Buildings you can't get into because you're in a wheelchair? Any of those experiences?
Well, I had one employer that built me several ramps, a couple of portable ramps, and one time they forgot I was disabled, put me in a building that was above water, and they had to build me a bridge.
So the employer, that was Astro World, right?
Yes.
They forgot you had a disability when they moved your office. When you got to work and couldn't get in that new building, they then decided the best solution was to build a bridge to the building, right?
Yeah, actually it was before the park opened for the season. They realized, oh, whoa. And they were the Texans. They know that I'm disabled, and if I need any assistance, they would provide it.
But the stadium, the facilities, all that's, because it's recently built, it's all built according to the new ADA standards, and it's perfectly accessible, right?
Yes, I'm out in the parking lot, actually, and there's curb cuts everywhere. There's walkways that they put up with cones.
Your job is to roll around and greet the folks who come to the games and tailgate, right?
For them to have a game day experience, such as tailgating, the game itself, Coca-Cola fan zone, and the Budweiser.
So your job is just to make sure they're having a good time, see what you can do to accommodate them. You call other staff in if they have assistance needs, and how does that work?
Yes, we go around the tailgating area, making sure they're having fun, that they're also within their parking limits and the guidelines of our Texas fan guide.
So it's not. You're also doing a little oversight to make sure they're following the rules, right?
Correct. That's right.
If they don't, do you confront them or call in backup, or how do you do that?
Yes, I confront them if the music's too loud, or their speaker's too big, or they're not within the area to get back within the area.
Okay. And most people comply?
Oh, yes. They realize, oh, yeah, we're just having a little fun. And we also issue what is called a yellow card.
Okay, so you give tickets.
Kind of like a ticket.
Now, I know you've also gone through the HPD course on ticketing folks who are parked in handicapped parking slots, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
You have, are you still qualified to do that?
Yes.
So if anybody's driving and parked in a handicapped spot that they're not supposed to be, watch out because Roland will ticket you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Roland, you drive, don't you?
Yes.
Are people surprised when they discover you're able to drive your own car?
Especially since it's all automatic. They'll see me pull up the double doors, open up automatically, and the lift comes down. And there's a price. Oh, you drive that big old van?
Okay, so it's a full-size vehicle you drive, a van.
Yes.
How were you able to get that?
I got it through some assistance through DARS.
The Vocational Rehabilitation Agency.
Correct.
Would you recommend other people see them if they need help with employment assistance?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Joel, you also drive.
Yes, I do.
Do you have accommodations that your employer needs to make for you other than the obvious ramps?
Well, two that I faced, and this is even going back when my joints were healthy enough to be ambulatory. I still had physical problems with reaching because of the involvement of the arthritis in every joint in my body. Is reaching up and then bending down to get objects or get into a drawer to have everything pretty much at waist high level from me, and to be able to accommodate my workstation by having things that were easy to reach, and also too is frequent breaks because I experience a lot of fatigue and stiffness when I've been in the same position.
Have any employers ever said to you, that seems like an unreasonable request?
No. All the employers that I have worked for have been great. You know, just being honest with them, and they've been very willing to work with me and haven't had a problem.
So the biggest challenge for you has been actually getting the job. Once you get on the job,
that's correct.
Your issues aren't that great. You drive yourself back and forth to work?
Yes, I do.
What kind of vehicle do you have?
I have a Toyota, a Sienna Toyota van that has a ramp system in it, a lowered floor ramp system for me to get in and out of the vehicle.
And you need assistance dressing and undressing at home, or are you self-reliant?
I'm self-reliant, but I do use a lot of aids, dressing sticks and sock chutes and things to help me with getting dressed if I need to, say, get a shirt up over my head or to pull my pants up or get my socks on. So I do use assistive devices. I'm independent, but I do use devices at home to help me do those activities. Okay.
Roland, what about you?
Well, my employer understands that I do need and assist getting dressed. And what they've done is give me an outfit to take home or to bring back. With the Texans, the day before, they allowed me to pick up my shirt because they're going to distribute them the day of the game. But they let my supervisor tell, hey, I need a shirt the day before the game.
Okay, so they distribute the uniforms or the shirts to the employees typically on the day of the game when they come to work, but in your case, you go in, pick it up a day early so that your assistant can help you put it on before you go to work. And when you go, then you take the one from the week before so that they can clean it and have it ready for the next week, right?
Well, not with Texas. This one, the shirt they gave me that I'm responsible for cleaning, but I also work at the Toyota Center.
Okay.
And get services, and they may have a uniform the day before, take it home, put it on, and then. Okay,
so we talked about the Texans, but you also work at Toyota Center. Is that for the Rockets or for the other events?
It's both. Rockets, Arrows, any concerts that we have.
Okay. And that must be an interesting job as well.
Well, it's a fun job also.
Okay. Joel, now we know from the Harris poll data that the employment rate of people with disabilities in the United States who are looking for work is about 20%. The unemployment rate, the answer to our question, 80%. It's phenomenal. 8 out of 10 people with disabilities who are looking for. What do you say to those people?
Don't be discouraged.
What do you say to employers?
That there are a lot of qualified applicants, an untapped labor pool, people that have a lot of skill sets, but their barrier is not being able to utilize those skill sets for employers if they can't get through the door.
Okay, and Roland, you yourself have 2 jobs now, but they're both part-time jobs. You're looking for full-time employment, right?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I enjoy working.
I want to thank you, Roland, for being on the show today, and Joel, thank you for coming.
Pleasure to be here.
I want to thank all of you for watching Focus on Ability. This program is about employment of people with disabilities. Lots of folks who really do have good skills, good training, a desire to work out there in the workplace. Employers would be well advised to take advantage of the opportunity to hire people with disabilities. I want to thank all of you for watching the show today. I want to thank our studio audience, and I want to thank HTV for putting the show on the air. You've been watching Focus on Abilities. I'm your host. Please join us next time for more Focus on Abilities.